On the 80th episode of the HatTrick Sports Podcast, we are going to be talking about the ending of the NFL season along with our last weekly NFL Pickems. The MLB free agency is getting interesting. We got some basketball and college football updates. We're going to be ranking the top 5 most unbreakable sports records and ending it off with some Hall of Fame. Yay or nay? Make sure you use code HatTrick Sports when checking out at w.gg for 10% off your order. Roll it! Welcome to HatTrick Sports, starring your host, Isaiah Carpenter. Bringing you the biggest sports headlines every week. This is the HatTrick Sports Podcast. Here we're going to start off with some NFL news. Week 18, you know what that means? There are some contract incentives going on with this. There's a lot of players that need to get some stats up to get a few million or a few thousand or however much money. So I'm going to be going over your Week 18 NFL player incentives. Geno Smith with the Seahawks, he needs over 185 passing yards for $2 million. And then if he gets the win, he gets another $2 million for a total of $4 million for Week 18. They are playing the Rams, and obviously they're out of the playoffs, but you know Geno wants that $4 million. Mike Evans needs over 5 receptions and over 85 receiving yards for $3 million. You have Von Miller. Von Miller needs over 1 sack, and he gets $1.5 million. You have Kyler Murray. He needs over 50 rushing yards and over 1 rushing touchdown for $750,000. You have DeAndre Hopkins. He needs over 9 receptions for $250,000. He needs 140 receiving yards for $250,000, and then over 1 touchdown for $250,000 for a total of $750,000 for Week 18. If he hits all, or if for each individual one, he'll get $250,000, and then if he hits all of them, he gets the combined $750,000. That was DeAndre Hopkins. You have Leonard Floyd. He needs over 1.5 sacks for $500,000. You have Joe Mixon, over 107 rushing yards for $250,000. And then J.K. Dobbins, he needs over 58 rushing yards for $150,000. So there is a lot on the line for some of these guys. I guess not a lot on the line, but they get a lot of rewards. They get a lot of money if they hit some of these stats. So we'll see if they do it. Obviously, this is being filmed before Week 18, but by the time this comes out, we'll see if these guys hit these incentives. And you know what? Maybe some of these guys some of this is good money. Like Geno Smith, $4 million. Pretty good for a week. And Mike Evans, $3 million. Von Miller, $1.5 million. And then all the way down to J.K. Dobbins for $150,000. For playing for a few hours, you can't complain. You cannot complain for a few $1 million for a few hours. All right. Let's keep it going with the NFL news. The Bengals. So let me pull up the NFL standings as of right now before the end of Week 18. Before the end of Week 18, the AFC North, before the end of Week 18, the AFC North, the Bengals are 9-8, but they lead the league in a whole bunch of different stats. They lead the league in passing yards, receiving yards, passing touchdowns, receiving touchdowns, and sacks. That has never happened before for a team to lead in all of those, but they just can't get the wins. They are 9-8, hopefully, and they're done. Yeah. 1 second. I have it up here. They've played all 17 games. So let me... Yeah, so the Steelers were their last one. Yeah, last night. The Steelers lost to them, so they won their 9th game last night. So they ended off the season 9-8, but yet they lead the league in passing yards, receiving yards, passing touchdowns, receiving touchdowns, and sacks. Yet they only got 9 wins. How do you get less than 10 wins leading and all that? I don't know. It's never happened before. And again, it's with a team that's not going to make the playoffs. A team that's leading in all that stuff isn't going to make the playoffs. That's wild to me. Never happened before. I just saw those stats. It was like, yeah, I should probably talk about that. All right, let's move on to, this is going to be quick. All right, let's move on to our weekly NFL Pickems. So last week, I'm actually not sure how we did last week just because we did our HatTrick Sports Awards. We still did our Pickems. I just don't think I ever made a TikTok or reel or short or anything about them. So at the end of this week, this will be our last week for our regular season NFL Pickems. I think we're still gonna do them for the playoffs, and we'll see how that goes. But for the regular season, this is it. Next week, we'll talk about the season, go over a little bit of overview, stuff like that. But for the Week 18 NFL Pickems, some of these games have already happened. Some of them are happening today. There's no Monday Night Football, which is a little, not upsetting, but I'm kind of disappointed. I don't know what I'm going to do Monday night. But you had the Browns and Ravens for a little division matchup. It didn't matter. The Ravens were fighting for the winning the North, and the Browns were already out of it. I think the line was set at 20.5 or something like that. The Ravens covered. We had the Ravens. So we had the Browns and Ravens. We had the Ravens. You have the Bengals and Steelers. We had the Steelers. I picked the Steelers in this. Again, this game has already happened, but I had the Steelers. I thought that the Steelers were going to win. But, again, I think now the Steelers play the Ravens, and if they won, they would have played the Texans. So, obviously, the Steelers want to win. I thought they were going to come back. It came kind of down to the last minute. I thought Wilson was going to do something, but no. The Bengals ended up winning. You have the Panthers and Falcons. Give me the Falcons. You have the Texans and Titans. Give me the Texans. You have the Giants and Eagles, a little division matchup. Give me the Eagles. You have the Jags and Colts. It's Week 18, aren't they? All division. No, not all of them. Yeah. What is that noise? All right. Sorry, my bad. Where was I? You have the Jags and Colts. Give me the Colts. You have the Commanders and Cowboys. Give me the Commanders, but it is being played in Dallas. Dallas might have a shot. I'm not saying I'm picking the Commanders, but Dallas might have a shot. You have the Bears and Packers. Give me the Packers. You have the Saints and Bucks. It's being played in Tampa. Give me the Bucks. You have the Bills and Patriots. Not even close. It's not even going to be remotely close. Give me the Bills. You have the Chargers and Raiders. Give me the Chargers. You have the 49ers and Cardinals. Again, I think this might be another close game, but give me the Cardinals. You have the Chiefs and Broncos. Give me the Broncos. Give me the Broncos. The Chiefs have already secured the 1 seed. They've already secured the 1 seed. They've secured their division. They've obviously made the playoff berth and everything like that. No starters are going to be playing. The Broncos, on the other hand, is a win and in. The Broncos are a win and in, so they need to win if they want to make it to the playoffs. So they're going to be fighting hard. It's being played in Denver. I think that's a huge home field advantage. I think Denver has one of the best home field advantages out of any team and in every league pretty much. Again, the oxygen levels, the weather, just everything. So give me the Broncos. You have the Seahawks and Rams. Give me the Seahawks. Again, the Seahawks are out of the playoffs. It sucks. Trust me. I've had a week to kind of think about that. But yes, give me the Seahawks. You have the Dolphins and Jets. Or let's go back to the Seahawks. You have the Seahawks and Rams. I think the Seahawks will win a lot because Geno Smith has $4 million on the line. If Geno Smith makes 185 or more passing yards and gets the win, he gets $4 million. Or if he just gets the win, he gets $2 million. If he just gets passing yards, he gets $2 million. But combined, he has a potential of $4 million bonus if he gets those two things. So, yes, I think that the Seahawks are very important. I think the Seahawks will win. You have the Dolphins and Jets. Give me the Dolphins. And you have the Vikings and Lions for Sunday Night Football. I really like the Sunday Night Football game. I think it's going to be a good game. The Vikings obviously started the season at the top. They just could not lose. And then they kind of not leveled out a little bit. But their hype wasn't as high as it used to be. And then the Lions are getting really hot. And I think the Lions make it to the Super Bowl. So, give me the Lions. Give me the Lions for Sunday Night Football. Those are your last and final Week 18 NFL Pickems. We will see you guys next week for a little bit of recap. Our best wins, our worst losses. And you know what? Close games, what our record came out to. Best comments. We get a lot of great comments from from the NFL Pickems. So yeah, and then starting January 11th, next week, starting January 11th, the wild cards will start. You'll have 6 wild cards games. Then you'll have the division round with 4 games, the conference champs, and then the Super Bowl on February 9th. The Super Bowl is on February 9th. That is good to know. The Super Bowl, we are only 5 weeks away from the Super Bowl. So keep that in mind. Check your calendars. Make sure you guys are free on the Super Bowl. Cannot wait. Bills Lions, where you at? Where you at? I said probably 20 months ago by the time. Yeah, probably 20 months ago, I said that the Bills were going to win the Super Bowl this season. Got a lot of guys hating on me. You know what? Haters going to hate. We going to win. All right. One more thing. That's it for NFL Pickems. But Aaron Rodgers has acknowledged that this could potentially be his last ever game in the NFL. And a lot of people say this every time. People said this when Breeze left. People say this when Roethlisberger left. People say this all the time. This is the end of an era. I've never really said that, but I think this is truly. I think Aaron Rodgers is truly the last guy in this era. So you had, like, he's in that kind of Brady era. You had Brady, the Mannings. You had Roethlisberger. You had Phillips, you had Breeze, you had all these guys, and again, every year, one of those guys leaves, and you're like, it's the end of the era, but Aaron Rodgers is kind of the last guy in that era. You could maybe say that Russell Wilson was in the end there. Again, obviously, he's still playing, he's leveled out, he's really leveled out, but at the time, you could say that Wilson was part of that era too, but what's in the future for Aaron Rodgers? Obviously, he's very smart. I don't know what his exact IQ is, but he's extremely smart. We know that much. Could he get into politics potentially? Maybe. He's kind of hinted at politics a little bit. But I think that he will. I don't think he'll live a quiet life. Obviously, he's crazy. When he trapped himself in a cave or something for 3 days to think about what he wanted to do with his NFL career. You guys remember that before he signed with the Jets or something crazy like that. He's a crazy guy. He's smart. He could get into politics. Like I said, he could potentially get into politics. Well, we don't know, but I don't think he'll live a quiet life. I think that he'll be out into the public. I think he'll be in the public eye for the rest of his life, I guess. But you know what? It's sad to see. They were just talking about it. It's sad to see that it could potentially be Rodgers' last game. I don't think he's interested in football anymore. I just don't. I think after he got traded, and I think that injury last year, I think that injury really played an effect on him, and I don't think he's that into football anymore. Like, obviously, when you're super good, you're super good. You're really into it. You like the money and everything like that. But it gets to a point where you're playing with guys that, like, You're the old guy. You're kind of just training these guys. You're coaching these guys. And I don't think he wants to be coaching these guys, mentoring these QBs and stuff like that. And I just think after that injury, he's with this new team. He misses the Packers. I think that he's just done with football. And good for him. He had a great career, obviously, first ballot Hall of Famer. But yeah, this is kind of like the end of an era for the NFL, for NFL QBs. All right. I think that is it for NFL football stuff. What are people saying? Do we have people in... Lamar for MVP, you think so? What about Saquon? What about Saquon for MVP? So that is on our TikTok live. Make sure you follow us on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. We'll probably get on some other apps here in the next few months, depending on what TikTok does. It sounds like TikTok's going to get shut down. But make sure to follow us because we go on lives all the time for the filmings of these podcasts. And stuff like that. All right, let's move on to some MLB news. I absolutely love Dodger fans and how greedy they are and how much the front office will give the Dodgers fans what they want. So obviously a Dodgers fan, you could call me a bandwagon. I'm not a bandwagon, but you could say that, whatever. I don't really care at this point. We got rings, you don't. Say what you want. We got billions of dollars worth of great guys, American and Japanese. Love them all. But yeah, I love Dodgers fans because the Dodgers officially re-signed Teoscar Hernandez. Obviously announced it a couple weeks ago, but they officially did it. And all the comments are like, yeah, we signed this Hernandez, but we really want the other one. And I just love how greedy the Dodgers fans are. And then I think the Dodgers will re-sign Kike Hernandez. But I just love how greedy they are. So it's like how much Dodgers players love it. So Teoscar Hernandez, he said that other teams were offering $6-7 million more than the Dodgers, but obviously you want to be part of a winning team, so you got to give that. You got to give that to Dodgers. Like the Dodgers people are giving up. Players are giving up millions and millions of dollars just so they could be on a winning team like the Dodgers with a good clubhouse, with obviously good wins and good guys and stuff like that. So I absolutely love to see it. Hi Song Kim. Don't be confused with Ha-Sung Kim. Ha-Sung Kim just signed with the Dodgers, 3 years, $12.5 million, I believe. He's like an infielder, utility guy. He gets the clubhouse hyped up. Obviously, another Japanese guy to add to the clubhouse. Roki, you're gonna be next. You don't have to play these games. Roki Sasaki is gonna be next with that. But Ha-Sung Kim. I think I'm saying that right. Don't get on me if I'm saying that wrong. I apologize if I'm saying that wrong. I don't mean to say that wrong, anything. But he is added. The Dodgers did DFA the big prospect. I can't think of it. Begins with a C. Last name begins with a C. I forget his name, but this guy at one point was the biggest prospect for the Dodgers, and they DFA'd him for this guy since you don't really need him. But Ha-Sung Kim, he's like an infielder. He's kind of like a utility guy. Love to see him in the clubhouse. He's supposed to be a good clubhouse guy. And again, the Padres and other teams offered him millions of dollars more, but again, you want to be part of a winning team. You want to be part of a good clubhouse. You want to be part of a good winning team. So, congratulations, Ha-Sung Kim. Welcome to the clubhouse. Bring your boy Roki with you. Roki Sasaki did announce that he is going to sign in the next few days, potentially, and that his final decision will be in the next few days. I think he goes to the Dodgers, and if the Dodgers are smart, the Dodgers don't need that much pitching, let's be honest. So they give up Tony Gonsolin, maybe Dustin May if you have to, and Chris Taylor, and maybe some money, again, if you have to get Nolan Arenado. You get Nolan Arenado, you put him at third, you take Muncy, use him as like a utility guy. Muncy sucks defensively at third base. I cannot comprehend. I miss baseball. Don't get me wrong. I miss baseball. I do not miss watching Muncy playing third base. He does not belong there. But if you get Arenado, he plays third. You have your entire field filled out. You have your entire pitching rotation, your entire lineup. You have everything perfect for the Dodgers. And there's not a doubt in my mind that the Dodgers won't win another World Series in the next few seasons if you do that. But what needs to happen is Roki needs to sign with the Dodgers so they have that extra pitcher, so then they can give up somebody like Gonsolin or even like May. I think he's just very injury prone. May has a huge potential. Dustin May has a huge potential, except he's always getting injured. Carrot Top, always getting injured. But again, if we get Sasaki, we have the availability to give up a pitcher in Chris Taylor, which don't get me wrong, I love Chris Taylor as a utility guy, but we can move Muncy to a utility. Muncy can play utility. He's played in the outfield. He can play middle infield, obviously, third base, first base. He can play pretty much everywhere except for pitcher and catcher. So yeah, you move. Yeah, that works out perfectly. You take Arenado. Arenado's obviously one of the best third basemen in the league. And there you go. You got the perfect lineup. You got the best team in the league. But I will say there are 3 powerhouse teams in the MLB next year. That these 3 teams are going to win 100 games next season. It's the Dodgers, the Mets, and the Yankees. So the Dodgers, obviously, like, it's the Dodgers. They've been re-signing guys. They've been spending billions of dollars the last few seasons. They have like $4 billion in contracts just in their on their roster right now. So the Dodgers obviously going to be a huge powerhouse team again, coming off of a World Series. You have the Yankees, who they didn't re-sign Juan Soto, so they signed all of these other guys. They signed probably 5 other guys for the worth of the one Juan Soto player. And then the Mets are going to be the third powerhouse team. Sure, they got Juan Soto. They wasted $765 million or whatever on this one guy. But Stephen Cohen is not afraid to spend money, and they are also signing a whole bunch of guys. They are also going to be good. So these 3 teams are going to be huge powerhouse teams in the MLB this upcoming season. I can't wait to watch. I love watching good baseball. The Mets, the Yankees, and the Dodgers, watch out. Those 3 are going to be huge powerhouse teams in the next few seasons, and I think all 3 of them are going to make it to the CS. And then again, it's going to be another. The Dodgers are going to have to play the Mets, I think, in the CS, and I think that's going to be a great series. And then the Yankees, I think, are going to make it all the way to the World Series again. So yeah, those are going to be the top 3 teams this year. I'm calling it now, 2025. It's January 5th, 2025. I'm calling it. Those 3 teams going to be absolutely amazing. Let's talk about some Dodgers. Obviously, a big Dodgers fans, and the Dodgers are really the only team making a whole lot of headlines lately, except for the Orioles. What are the Orioles doing signing 41-year-old Charlie Morton? Sure, he's had a great career, but that's not how you're gonna get to the top. You're not gonna get to the top by signing a 1-year, $50 million guy that's 41 years old. You're not gonna get to the top by doing that. I don't know what they're doing. You guys lost Burns. You guys lost your chance. Hate to break it to you, you guys lost your chance. But the Dodgers, let's talk about their offseason. Their offseason spending, what they've done in the offseason, their moves this offseason so far. They signed Blake Snell, two-time Cy Young Award. They signed Blake Snell. They signed Michael Conforto. They re-signed Trennan, the reliever for the Dodgers. They re-signed Teoscar Hernandez. They just signed Hae-Sung Kim, the infielder, 3 years, $12.5 million, and then potentially Roki Sasaki in the next few days, and then they're going to sign more guys. So the Dodgers, like I said, they're going to be these powerhouse teams. They're just building up to these lineups. They're just building up. They said out with the old, in with the new, and I'm down for it. I'm sure. I love these guys. Kershaw, I would love to see the Dodgers re-sign Kershaw, give him the jersey, and he's not horrible. Like, sure, 2 seasons ago, he had the 62 something ERA or something wild like that, or 162 or something ERA. That last game before he had the injuries and stuff like that, when we lost to the DS to the Padres a couple years ago. Sure, and then he only had a few starts this season, and half of them were great, half of them were horrible. So I would love to see Kershaw sign with the Dodgers, but I just don't want him to go to another team. I want him to hang the cleats up if he doesn't sign anywhere, but I think that the Dodgers will re-sign him. But, guys like Chris Taylor, yeah, we can trade him. Muncy, I'd like to keep him as a utility guy, but if we need to, we could trade him. Gonsolin, we can trade him if we have to. Dustin May, I think he has high potential, just the injuries. But I think we could trade May if we really have to. Out with the old, in with the new. We're just getting better. We're just advancing more than any other team right now. And we obviously have the money. The Dodgers are not afraid to spend the money. And I'm here for it. Deferred money, get all the deferred money you have to do. So yeah, that's basically all of your MLB recap in the offseason. Spent 5 minutes, 10 minutes talking about that. Let's move on to our sponsor for the week. We have W Energy. So W Energy, first HatTrick Sports partners of 2024. We're going to try the sour kind. I think I've only tried this once. Yeah, I remember this. But yeah, if you know me, I love my sour stuff. Basically, what you do, I say this every episode, you go to w.gg, use code HatTrick Sports. This is not illegal substances. I was going to say something else, but we are on TikTok Live. It's just powdered, it's powdered energy drinks. It's like pre-workout. It's a energy drink, but it's like a powdered drink. You basically go to w.gg, you get what you want. There's tubs, there's to-go packs, there's cans, there's everything. You get one of these, and in the order thing, in the discount codes, you put code HatTrick Sports, you get 10% off. It helps me, it helps you, you get 10% off, and it helps W. Obviously, they're getting sales. So, we are trying the sourest flavor that W has ever put out. One sip, everybody knows the rules. One sip, everybody knows the rules. I really like this flavor. I like the blue raspberry. I like all the flavors, actually. This is, not my favorite flavor. I like it. I like it a lot. It's just not my favorite flavor. But it still gets a one sip, everybody knows the rules. Probably an 8.4. This one gets an 8.4. The Granny Smith apple secret sauce. Tubby gets 8.4 and one sip. Everybody knows the rules. Thank you, W, for sponsoring and partnering with us. Make sure you use code HatTrick Sports to get 10% off your order at w.gg. All right, that's that. Let's move on to ranking the top 5. 1 second. We are going to be ranking the top 5 most unbreakable records in the MLB, we're going to be ranking the top 5 most unbreakable records in sports history. At number 5, you have Bill Russell's 11 NBA championships as a player in 13 seasons. He has 11. Let that sink in. Over a decade worth of championships in just 13 seasons between 57 and 69. It's probably not going to ever be unbreakable just because of free agencies. You have the increased competitions, and it's almost impossible for just one player to dominate a team sport on that level again. So Bill Russell gets number 5. And number 4, you have Cy Young's 511 career wins. 511 wins. Think about that. That's like a year and a half straight worth of wins for Cy Young. Between 1890 and 1911. Modern pitchers rarely approach like even 20 wins a season now. And again, for 500 wins, the record is just never going to be broken. So let's say the great pitchers, absolutely Hall of Fame pitchers, get 20 wins a season. 20 wins a season. That means, what's 500 divided by 20? 525? Is it 25? Yeah, a Cy Young Hall of Famer would need to go 20 wins for 25 straight seasons to get to what Cy Young's record is for the wins. So it just probably won't ever happen again. At number 3, you have Jerry Rice's career receiving yards, 22,895 career receiving yards. It's just the longevity of his career and the dominance over the 2 decades. It's just not going to even be close to breakable. No current player is even close to his level of production across such a long career. So let's do the math on this too. So 22,895 career receiving yards. How many miles is that? We can do 22,895 times 3 divided by how long's a mile? 5280? Something like that. Over 13 miles. Jerry Rice's career receiving yards was over 13 miles. Let that sink in. That is why it makes podium. At number 2, you have Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game. Now, it's officially unofficial. There's no record. There's only audio. There's no video. They didn't really keep track of that back then. But in March 2nd, 1962, sure, Kobe Bryant's had like 81-point games, and guys have come close. Chamberlain's scoring feat is an era with there was no three-pointers. It's very hard to believe, but officially unofficial, it will probably never be broken again unless there's a guy like, again, Kobe Bryant, who had 81 points. There's guys that have been close, but Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game gets the number 2 runner-up spot. But at number 1, the record that I don't see will ever being broken ever again is Cal Ripken Jr.'s consecutive games. He played 2,632 consecutive games between 1982 and 1998. Sure, there's always his dad was the head coach, so his dad, put me in, dad. Yeah, there's always that kind of stuff. The coach's kid, he was the coach's kid at the highest level possible. The lights went out on the day that he was sick. There's always stuff like that. But yes, it's true. He did go 2,632 consecutive games played. Modern athletes prioritize rest and They need rest, and making this streak is like not even close to possible. It's just not going to happen. So again, we're going to do math for this one. This is a lot of math. 2,632 games. How many full seasons is that? How many? 2,632 divided by 162. So yeah, over 16 seasons without one game off. Again, you probably won't ever see that happen again. But that is why it is in my opinion, it's the most unbreakable record in sports history. So that is your top 5 most unbreakable records in sports history. Let's move on to a little bit of NBA news. I haven't read a whole bunch on it, but Jimmy Butler basically, I have an article up here. So Jimmy Butler's suspension did get suspended for 7 games and possibly a trade in the near future. What we know and don't know about this. So Jimmy Butler's played 6 seasons with the Heat, and it might be coming to an end here soon. He led the Heat to the finals in 2020, 2023, and then he was suspended by the team on Friday for conduct detrimental to the team 1 day after indicating that he wanted to trade. He publicly said that he wanted to trade. He arrived to training camp earlier this season with saying that he wants no shenanigans. He scored only 18 points combined in the past 2 games after sitting out the previous 5 because he was sick. He said that he was sick. But it's being reported that the Heat were listening to offers on Butler, and then on December 25th, that Butler preferred a trade out of Miami. The situation escalated to a point that after Tuesday's loss to the Pacers, Butler said he wanted to find his joy again on the court. When asked if he could do that in Miami, he answered, probably not. So again, I don't like that. These guys are paying you. This is your job. I understand, give them your 2 weeks notice. You can't really do that, and you sign a contract. But these guys are paying you millions. What's his contract? Let me look up Jimmy Butler's contract. Jimmy Butler's contract with Heat. Yeah, he's getting paid millions and millions and millions, dozens of millions of dollars. Who cares if you want to find joy in the court? Sure, I know it's your passion. You've worked your whole life for this, but I just don't like publicly hating on the guys that are paying you. Obviously, you have teammates that look up to you. You have other guys looking up to you, and you're just kind of bashing on them. I just don't like that. I don't like the mindset that Jimmy Butler's at. He did say at the beginning of the season that he wanted no shenanigans this season, and he's just not doing that. So, Jimmy Butler gets a nay. The Heat also gets a nay. I say you send him to New Orleans, see how he likes it over there. But yeah, that's basically my thoughts on the whole Jimmy Butler situation. Let's move on to my favorite segment, Hall of Fame, yay or nay. All right, Hall of Fame, yay or nay. We have DeMarcus Cousins. Now, it's been hard thinking about Hall of Fame, yay or nay. In recent, we've obviously done 80 of these. We've done 80 Hall of Fame yay or nays in the last year and a half, almost 2 years. Yeah, wow. We've done this for almost 2 years. That's wild. So, not Kirk Cousins, DeMarcus Cousins stats. I put to Cousins. DeMarcus Cousins career stats. Let's look at him. Let's see what he led the league in. 4-time All-Star, 2-time All-NBA. 2-time All-NBA, 2010, 2011 All-Rookie. He's played for a whole bunch of teams. He's played for the Kings, Pelicans, Warriors, Rockets, Nuggets, Bucks, Clippers. He played for a whole bunch. So he's played in 654 games, 19.6 points per games. Let me zoom in here. 10.2 rebounds per game, 3 assists per game, 46% field goal percentage, 33 3-point field goal percentage, 73.7 free throw percentage, player efficiency rating 22.0, win shares 46.8. He's never led the league in anything. He's never been an MVP or anything like that. Let's move over here. So like I said, 4-time All-Star, 2-time All-NBA. Injuries and lack of playoff success hurts his case to be in the Hall of Fame. But you know what? It's not the NBA's Hall of Fame. It's the HatTrick Sports Hall of Fame. Going to be on our website coming up soon. But it's a nay. It's just DeMarcus Cousins gets a nay. But like I said, 4-time All-Star, 2-time All-NBA does give himself a little bit of a lead. But he does not deserve to be in the HatTrick Sports Hall of Fame. So it is a nay. I think that is it. Thank you guys for watching the 80th episode of the HatTrick Sports Podcast. Make sure you follow us on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. Make sure you go to w.gg. Use code HatTrick Sports for 10% off your order. We are getting the website up and running hopefully in the next couple weeks. And we will see you guys next week. We'll see you guys next week for episode 81. Thank you guys.